Hello and welcome to Learning Access 2013. My name is Mike Henry and this is the fifth video from Tutorial 5. In this video we're going to learn to take the concatenation of other types of queries. So we're going to take a pattern match and we're going to glue in a parameter query into the middle of it and see what kind of results we can get out of it. Going back to our pattern match query here, we can see we have a like and an HAR giving us a wildcard after that. When we view this, you can see that it shows us everything that starts with HAR, so we get a bunch of Hartfords. So basically this is a pattern match or a like query. Now we also saw earlier a different query called the parameter, where we basically created a field that didn't exist. So I open up my field and I say please enter, and we know that there's not a field in here called please enter. So when I view this, I can type in Hartford again, and when I type that in I get all the Hartfords. So basically we've seen the best of two queries here. One is that it allows the end user to type something in. That is our our parameter query, and then we have the pattern match, which lets us use just part of the word instead of the whole word. And if we rerun this query and I type in HAR, you can see that I get nothing because it's an exact match. There is no HAR cities. So what we're going to do is we're going to learn how to concatenate these two types of queries together. We're going to take these two queries and put them together to get one particular thing from it. So we need to understand how the two queries work. So the pattern match starts us off with a like. Okay? And then what we're doing is we're taking our parameter query. So I'm going to put in here my parameter query. Going to create a field that doesn't exist. Please enter the beginning of the city name. So now we know what's going to come up in our parameter box. It's going to say please enter the beginning of the city name, and then we are going to glue that. So this is where our glue comes in, our ampersand, and we're going to glue that to a wildcard. Now I don't just put the asterisk here, I put a quote on either side of the asterisk to say what I'm gluing it to is text. So I'm going to take text and I'm going to glue it to a wildcard which represents text. So that's what we see in this particular setup here, and when I run this you can see please enter the beginning of the city name. I can type in here HA, and as soon as I hit that I get every city that starts with an H. I can refresh that and I'll say please show me every city that starts with a W, and now I get my West Hartfords, my Waterbury, and my Windsors in here. So I've got a lot of cities that start with an H. So you can see we can use this query to allow the end user to have some input but still give them the capability to use a wildcard. Now we could actually modify this query just a little bit with one quick thing. I am going to come here in front of the parameter part and I'm going to put another asterisk. So I put in my quote, an asterisk, and a quote, and basically now I'm saying let me have the letter I type in anywhere within inside the city name, and I'm going to put up here another piece of glue. So now I have an asterisk in front and an asterisk in back. So basically now when I type in the letter T, I get Hartford because there's a T somewhere in the middle. I get Waterbury, there's a T somewhere in the middle. And I get West Hartford because there's two T's. One is in the middle of there. So this allows me to put wildcards on any area while also using a parameter query. So we're concatenating two queries together. So what we learned in this one is we can glue types of queries together. So before we learned how to glue fields together, now we're learning how to glue queries together, and we glued a pattern match and a parameter together, which allowed the end user to put in a couple of letters but still get back the results for something even greater because we could put a pattern match to that or a wildcard to it. We're going to see some other things that we can glue together in some of the future queries.